Okay, Mukesh Patel back here again. Let's now continue with ideas and commercialization. Let's take a look at some frameworks and models. So, Bain and Company, which is a famous, prominent consulting firm, global consulting firm, has developed a simple framework of 5 tests to assess an idea's potential. Number one, going from the top right down clockwise, is desirability. So, do the customers have a need that they want solved? Another way to think about that is um, need and desire, but also a pain point. Is there a real pain that needs to be solved? Because if you can identify not just a need, but an unmet need, our ideas will be better. So we make sure that there's actually an unmet need and a desirability for our solution. Next, feasibility. Can we feasibly deliver our solution to satisfy the unmet need of that customer or of the customers? If we can, then there's that feasibility element, check. Next, can we monetize this opportunity? Can you make money doing this? If so, then there's this financial or commercial viability. Next is strategic. Is the solution aligned to your overall company vision, mission, core values, and strategy? If it is aligned, then you have a good strategic fit, which should help with sustainability and growth. And lastly, people and culture. Even though we say lastly, it is perhaps one of the most important elements. Do you have the right people in the right seats on the bus or the rocket ship? If you do, then great things can happen because you want an A team over a B team any day, anytime. In fact, a B team with a great idea could make it fail, but an A team with an average idea could turn it into a very positive company and experience. Let's take a quick look at some of the innovators' methods and kind of key activities that happen at each stage of the process. So it starts with insights, defining the problem, essentially discovering the job to be done for the customer, our solution in the form of a minimum viable product or a prototype, and then a business model that allows us to validate our hypotheses for the business model, and then as soon as they're validated, go to market, develop a go-to-market strategy. This method, if we look at it as an end-to-end process, then the insight to the problem identification stage is all about creative thinking and ideation, brainstorming, and then using open innovation methods to convert an unmet need or a problem or a pain point into a solution. Design thinking could also be utilized. Design thinking is a method that has been created and optimized by the D School or the Design School at Stanford University. If you search dschool.com or design thinking, you'll see a lot of tools and frameworks that they have there that can be utilized. Once we start thinking about the solution, we want to use agile methodology and the lean startup methodology to actually design, develop, and implement a solution while reducing the costs and the time needed to get it to market. And then business model, for that element, we will actually use a template of business model canvas. A specific one from strategizer.com will be useful. I'll show you that in a moment. And Another framework to think about, which we use in our CTech program, Collaborative for Technology, Entrepreneurship, and Commercialization program, is something called TPM links. So a lot of people in the startup world will talk about product market fit, but it's useful to step back a little bit and think about it as tech product market fit. So on the technology side, thinking about what are the capabilities of the technology. Do you need to leverage other people's technology and stack your tech stack, or is yours a standalone technology for the solution? When we think about product, you want to think about not only product features, but think about value proposition. So it's really about a value proposition that you can deliver to your customer segment. And then market is all about customer segmentation to identify specific segments of customers, knowing the details of the demographics, psychographics, and understanding your consumer so well, whether it's an individual consumer or an enterprise or a business or government, nonprofit, whatever it might be, organizational customer, really understanding the segments and identifying each of their unmet needs and getting them to validate that so you can deliver your value proposition and connect the dots to the customer segments. Triangulating this in some sort of a Venn diagram could be useful. So let's take a look at what are the customer's needs. Those are the market drivers. What is commercially viable? That will depend on whether you can achieve a reasonable investment return. And then what is technologically feasible or possible? Those are your capabilities. If we triangulate these three, we can actually leverage this overlap to achieve the model innovation to scale. So we will, in the next module, go do a deep dive into the business model canvas, because that will be our first core tool once we go from an idea to a business model. And so stay tuned for the next module on Business Model Canvas.